Darkness. Infinite darkness. A cold void disturbed only by a large mass of dark gray metal. A ship floating listlessly through the emptiness of space. On the outside it seems invincible, a paragon of strength to the human race. But the inside of its steel hull tells another story. Its long, twisting corridors devoid of all light and life. Signs of a battle, no, a massacre, litter the hallways and rooms. Dried blood paints the walls. Piles of bullet casings clutter the floor. There are no signs of the fallen, no bodies, human or otherwise. Suddenly, the unnatural silence was shattered by the sound of gunfire. 4 shots in quick succession. Then the eerie silence crept back into the ship. Inside a locked room of the ship are 5 bodies residing there. 1 still alive. The other 4 crumpled on the floor, red liquid pooling beneath them. The remaining body, a man dressed in white armor, trembled in fear. A red cross on his chest and back indicated his status as a medic. His helmet lay discarded at his side. The young man had short brown hair and bright, vibrant blue eyes. He pointed his sidearm under his chin, copying the actions of his former comrades. His fingers slowly began to squeeze the trigger that would end his life and take him away from this living hell. His eyes squeezed shut, and his breathing began to quicken. After a long moment, he shook his head slowly and lowered his arm. He holstered the pistol before examining the bodies of his deceased team. He ran shaky, gloved fingers through his hair. His eyes hardened. He quickly placed his helmet back onto his head, his fear-filled face disappearing, replaced by the cold black visor and white protective armor. He looked around the destroyed room. Desks and chairs were flipped over, papers scattered on the floor. The medic stepped over to his dead officer, taking the captain's rifle and several magazines of ammunition. He was about to leave the room, but a flashing green light from the captain's helmet caught his attention. He picked up the blood-stained helm, taking a chip from the back of it, before dropping the piece of armor. The soldier sighed in relief, before placing the chip into his own helmet. Suddenly, a heads-up display lit up his visor, and a voice entered his ears. Systems booting up. Current neural link, Abel Lancaster, Templar medic of Captain Guthrie's team. Current status, unharmed. Teammate status, deceased. You may call me Theta. Alright, Theta. Help me get off this damned ship. Hello, you glorious gutsy gamers. Welcome back to Talking Tuesdays. I'm your host, the Cartoon Junkie. Now, you are probably wondering what that little intro was. Well, that was my novel that I'm working on. It is very far from done. In fact, it's mostly still an idea. But it's an idea I had years ago, and I've slowly been developing it. Now I'm ready to start writing. Now, the very basic idea of the story is that the world's scientists had predicted the end of planet Earth. So the world came together to create a giant space station. It took years, like hundreds of years. By the time it was finished, the cataclysm was beginning. Now, one big flaw that the station had was it was only big enough to fit 1/3 of the human population on it. So, they loaded up as many people as possible and left the rest. 1/3 died, 1/3 survived. Those that survived thrived and festered a hatred for those that left. So, when the people of the North Star, the space station, returned to set up some bases, they were openly attacked. So began a several hundred-year-old war. This leads up to our main character, a Templar of the North Star, and a medic for its army. Abel Lancaster and his team of Templar warriors are sent to investigate a science frigate that the North Star had lost contact with. Once they arrive, they quickly realize that something is wrong, and they are attacked by an unknown enemy, which will be revealed in the final product. Wink, wink. The story continues from there. Now, let's see. There's not much to report on. MoonJelly and all the channels related to it are progressing slowly but surely. Speaking of which, I do plan on making my own personal channel later on this summer. it will be called Cartoon Junkie, and I plan on doing voice acting stuff, little projects here and there of my own creation, or maybe something I get hired to do, or little hobby projects, stuff like that. And of course, I'd love to do cartoon reviews or talk about the current cartoons that I am enjoying, since I am myself a cartoon junkie. Maybe some other stuff as well, which I'll need to figure out later on. And to build upon that, MoonJelly is also wanting to create a Kickstarter. We're very far away from doing this, but eventually we will. And this Kickstarter will help us pay for equipment, software, and anything that we may need in the future to help us build our stories. Reality, Neverbound, and of course mine, the Ocelot. Now, I'd love to tell you more about the Ocelot, but I have to keep it under wraps, I will be working on it more this summer, and maybe I can post a few chapters online, who knows. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully, it'll go somewhere eventually. Now, I want to try and hit the 10-minute mark on all my Talking Tuesday videos, but probably not going to hit the 10-minute mark on this one, simply because I don't have much to say. It was a really uneventful week. I think I'll say goodbye now. So, goodbye, you glorious gutsy gamers, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Talking Tuesdays. Be sure to check out next week's, and be sure to check out all of the channels linked below, including Guts Glory Gaming.